Which will you choose? Good or evil? Light or darkness? Pet the dog or don't pet the dog? Which will you decide? But I swear to God, if you don't pet that dog, I swear to God, just pet the dog. Just pet the dog. Just pet the dog. For the love of God, please just pet the dog. Just pet the dog. Okay. Whew. Okay. I thought we were gonna have a problem here for a second. Video games are all about player choice. The main interaction an average player has is interaction. When you shoot the gun goes. When you jump the Mario goes. When you pet the dog goes.
Woof, woof, thank you, human, I enjoyed that pet.
But when it comes to the story, it can only move in the direction the designers and writers push it in. Mario can jump when you tell him to, but the princess can only ever not be in this castle when the designers want it to. But then at some point in gaming history, I'm not exactly sure when, I'm not that smart, someone said that the player should be able to have a say in what happens in the game's story as well. After all, if the players were gonna control the character, then maybe they should have some sort of control in the story.
Life's hard enough as it is, alright? I need some amount of control in my life.
As you should.
This came in many forms, either adaptive and reactive quest design, like in Fallout New Vegas. No matter how much you try to screw up the quest, it'll always try to keep itself going, you know? Okay, now pet the dog. Okay, the player just killed the dog. Okay, buddy, alright, you're making this way harder than it needs to be. Then you have the good and evil choice. The game holds its breath for a second to let the player decide, do I want to help the orphanage or do I want to kill the dog? Kill the dog? Why is the player always trying to kill the dog? This has become increasingly more and more popular because it's a very easy way of making the player feel like they're making a contribution to the story when you and I both know
You don't.
this type of interaction came about during the PS3 and Xbox 360 era. A lot of things did change at that point in time. If only someone had made a video about that kind of thing. I'm not sure. I did that. I'm not sure if you caught my subtle reference. I was referencing my other video. I did that. I made that video. You should watch it. And while many great things came about during this period, like robust physics systems, larger, more detailed worlds, and technical improvements, these black and white story choice moments are not one of them. They suck. I sincerely believe that every one of these story beat moments are bad, and I don't like them. So I started looking around, and the first thing that came to my mind was Infamous. I've stated it before, and I'm gonna state it again. I really like Infamous. It's a great game. I think it's a really fun franchise. And no, I'm not just talking about the same 5 different games and different permutations in a different video again. I've played more games than just those couple games. I've played more than that. Moving on, for Infamous, the big gameplay hook this time around was being good or evil was affected by your gameplay choices. How many people you killed in combat on accident or deciding to kill or spare your enemies affected your gameplay. You would get new, powerful abilities based on the choices you made. And this stuff is really good. It's a really fun, effective, and engaging way of getting the players to actually think about how they're playing the game and not just blowing crap up randomly. Also, it's kind of funny that being a good guy is like, hey, I only killed 16 people as collateral damage when I flipped that car into that building. Come on! I could have killed way more, but I didn't because I'm a nice guy. But outside of the literal gameplay function and the literal gameplay benefits, that's where my praise ends, because the very black and white, good and evil choice is simplistic and almost childish. It doesn't take much brain cells to see what the right thing to do in this situation is. It's not a complicated question where you have to weigh the pros and cons of the conundrum. It's all up to the adherence to whatever type of playthrough you're doing. If you're doing an evil or good playthrough, you're gonna pick the evil or good option regardless of what you might think is right. You're gonna kill people in the streets regardless if you know better. It's not asking the player what they want to do, it's asking them, hey, what kind of color do you want your character to be in this next cutscene? You never know. Do you want to see Commander Shepard push this dude out a window? Then do the renegade option. You want to be a jerk and just a sarcastic piece of crap to every person you meet? Then do the aggressive option.
The big old bombs 200 years ago.
Who gives a crap raise?
It's just a simple good or evil question that never properly makes the player empathize with what's going on. This unfortunately was the bedrock for a few different games. Will you be good or evil? Games like Infamous, Fable, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, where you get to be the bad guy and watch bad things happen. Ooh! It's as simplistic as it is dumb and redundant. In most situations, it's a decent way of adding replayability to a game, but it only works if those moments are worth replaying and the alternate story choices are at least interesting. Hopefully it's not just seeing a different colored explosion at the end of your trilogy and massively ruining the whole franchise. There's no way that could happen. It did. It did happen. That happened. I was a subtle reference to Mass Effect 3. That did happen. It did ruin the franchise. How could you do this? In the worst case scenario, it's just a way to trick the player into thinking that they're making interesting decisions, when in reality, the game is just openly lying to you. Like in Lords of the Fallen, where you're presented with 2 different options, it has no effect on the game. It plays the same cutscene afterward no matter what you choose. It's not actually an option. It's just there to trick you, to make you think you're making choices and infecting the story, but in reality, you're not. In best case scenario, it has more rippling effects like in Dishonored, where the amount of people you kill can affect things like the rats in the streets that can attack you and actually change the gameplay. It can also change the outcome of the game's ending, but we'll still never get the chance to ask any really engaging questions because of the simple black and white question. Oftentimes, just giving the player any choice at all can ruin the dramatic weight of certain moments. It would have just been better if the game had just told you what to do and not given you a choice at all. I'm going to talk about it again, I just brought it up in the last video, but imagine if the ending of The Last of Us, or even Shadow of the Colossus, had given the player a similar choice. I'm not saying that a choice wouldn't have serviced these moments well, but it definitely would have soured the game's message and moral theme if at any time the player could go, yeah, I want to be a bad guy, kill these freaking monsters. Dead, 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 dead. Oh, I'm dead. I'm not saying that having an input on the story is a bad thing. Having players be able to decide how things go can actually be really fun for some people. But there has to be a better, more nuanced way to approach this. I'm in risk of endangering my gamer credit score, but I can't think of any of those games that I've played that have offered that sort of experience that really engages me. An experience that will actually make me think about the morality of my choices. So until I play that game, I shall stand and die on the hill that no video game ever made, forever, ever, and ever, has never, ever done anything like that. I am always right about everything. Listen to me unequivocally. Unequivocally? Is that a word? That's gotta be a real word. I've heard other people use that, and I'm trying to sound really smart, or am I just coming off as pretentious? Okay, obviously that's not true. I'm not talking about the me being pretentious part. That definitely is true. I am a little pretentious. I'm talking about the part where video games have done this sort of thing before. But what that video game is, I don't know. What do you think? You think there was a point to this video? Do you think I was gonna have a nice little pretty bow to wrap the video up in? You know how, like in all of my videos, I'll talk about something and then I'll drop the bomb at the end or toward the end of the video where I'll go, oh, here's the example that does it this way, or it does it this way in a really unique and interesting way. No, I don't have. Not every video has a point to it. I legitimately don't know. So. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.
Got you, boys. I tricked you. I managed to get you to watch a freaking video about nothing. I win, baby. Yeah. You guys can't even get me. I win. I got you to watch a video about nothing. Yeah.